There's a quiet moment in every person's life when they look in the mirror and ask, is this it? That moment is more than just self-reflection. It's the beginning of transformation, but only if we're willing to take full ownership of where we are. Responsibility is where personal power begins. It's not about blame. Blame keeps you stuck. Responsibility frees you. It's the shift from why is this happening to me to what can I do about it. That shift, simple in words, monumental in practice, separates those who change their lives from those who keep replaying the same chapters. There's a man I once met, 42 years old, brilliant, articulate, but bitter. Every conversation circled back to what someone else did wrong. His parents didn't support him. His boss didn't promote him. His friends never believed in him. I asked him, what if none of that ever changes? What then? He paused, then said quietly, then I guess I have to change. That sentence became his turning point. Within 2 years, he'd launched a consulting business and repaired his broken relationship with his kids. Not because life got easier, but because he stopped outsourcing of yourself while pointing fingers. The moment you decide to own your choices, your responses, your results, that's when life starts to respond back. Think of a garden. If your garden is full of weeds, you don't blame the rain or curse the sun. You get your hands dirty. You pull the weeds, plant the right seeds, water consistently. Taking responsibility is the same. It's active. It requires effort. But the harvest is always worth it. It's not always easy to take ownership. Some things weren't your fault. You didn't choose your childhood. You didn't choose the heartbreak, but you do choose how long you stay stuck in the story. Responsibility isn't about denying pain. It's about rising above it. Start small. Own your mornings. Own your energy. Own how you show up at work, in your relationships, in your mindset. The world might hand you circumstances, but it's you who decides what to do with them. When you stop waiting for someone to rescue you and start building your own ladder, life changes. You go from a passenger to the driver, from a victim to the architect, and once that shift happens, it's irreversible. Every day you wake up with two choices: react to the world or command your own. Those first 60 minutes, they're not just a routine, they're a statement, a declaration of who you are and what you expect from the day. Most people roll out of bed, grab their phone, scroll through stress, and then wonder why they feel behind before the day even begins. It's not coincidence, it's conditioning. If your mornings start in chaos, your life starts to reflect it. A well-crafted morning routine isn't about being rigid, it's about being ready. It's your time to build momentum, to align your mindset before the demands of the world come knocking. You don't need 2 hours. You need intention. Think about a boxer before the fight. He doesn't step into the ring cold. He warms up, he moves, breathes, visualizes. Why? Because what happens before the fight determines how he performs in it. Life is no different. Your job, your family, your goals, they all require a version of you that's centered and sharp. That version gets built in the morning. A 2021 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that people who followed a consistent morning routine had significantly higher levels of productivity, emotional regulation, and goal completion. It's not a theory, it's data, back. So, what does a powerful morning routine look like? Start by protecting your mind. No social media, no emails. Give your brain time to wake up on your terms. Read something uplifting, even 10 minutes. Write down your goals or thoughts. Pray, journal, breathe, move your body. You're not just going through motions, you're signaling to yourself, I matter. My vision matters. There's a woman I worked with who used to wake up in a frenzy, late, stressed, scattered. Every day felt like she was sprinting to catch up. After implementing a 30-minute morning routine, just stretching, gratitude, journaling, and reviewing her goals. Her entire demeanor shifted. She wasn't just calmer, she was sharper, more focused, and finally consistent in building her side business. Within a year, she left her 9 to 5 on her own terms. Consistency in the morning creates clarity for the rest of the day. It's not about perfection. You'll miss days. That's life. But the goal isn't to be flawless. It's to be intentional more often than not. Some mornings, the bed will call louder than your purpose. And that's okay. But remind yourself, this is your time. No one can take it unless you give it away. Build a routine that fits you. Maybe it's reading, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's 15 minutes of silence with coffee. The content matters less than the commitment. Because once you start the day on your terms, the world no longer gets to decide how you show up. You do. You are what you consume, and that goes beyond what's on your plate. If your mind is constantly fed with negativity, distractions, and noise, don't be surprised when you feel anxious, uninspired, or directionless. Think about this. If someone ate fast food 3 times a day for a year, you'd expect their health to suffer. The weight gain, the fatigue, the lack of focus, it's predictable. But here's the problem. Most people don't apply that same logic to their mental diet. They fill their minds with gossip, fear-driven headlines, drama-filled reality shows, and hours of meaningless scrolling, then wonder why they can't sleep, can't focus, and can't find motivation. Mental nutrition is real. Just like your body thrives on vitamins and nutrients, your mind thrives on ideas, stories, and beliefs that lift you. When you feed it wisdom, optimism, and truth, you start thinking differently, you feel differently, you act differently. There's a reason some people seem to grow faster than others, even when they start at the same place. It's not just talent or luck, it's input. While one person is watching their 10th episode of a show they'll forget tomorrow, the other is reading something that sparks a new idea. One is complaining about the job, the other is listening to a podcast that makes them think bigger. Your mind is a garden. Whatever you plant, good or bad, will grow. Plant seeds of faith, purpose, gratitude, discipline, creativity, and you'll get the fruits. Plant worry, laziness, resentment, self-doubt, and those weeds will take over everything. There was a young man I knew who hated reading. Said it reminded him of school, but he was stuck in life, so he gave himself a challenge, just 10 pages a day. The first book, a biography of someone who overcame hardship. The second, a book on mindset. That habit shifted his self-image. He went from being passive to proactive. Within 6 months, his vocabulary changed, his attitude shifted, his decisions got sharper. Why? Because he changed what he fed his mind. Start small. Even 15 minutes a day of intentional learning can rewire your thinking over time. Read something that challenges your beliefs. Listen to people who are further ahead. Replace 1 hour of entertainment with 1 hour of personal growth. You'll be amazed how quickly things change when your thoughts change. The truth is, your future's being shaped by the content you're consuming today. Every video, every book, every conversation is either sharpening you or dulling your edge. And in a world filled with mental junk food, being selective is not snobbery, it's strategy. When you start to choose your mental diet as carefully as your meals, you become stronger, wiser, more resilient. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. Comfort feels good, but it rarely leads to anything great. Growth, on the other hand, is uncomfortable by design. That's why most people avoid it. But if you want to become your best self, comfort is the trap you must learn to walk past. Comfort says you've done enough. Growth says there's more in you. Comfort says stay where it's safe. Growth says take the risk, learn from it. There's a woman I once coached who stayed in the same job for 8 years. Every year she felt a little more drained, a little more stuck. When asked why she didn't leave, her answer was honest. It's not that bad. But here's the problem with not that bad. It steals your chance at great. People often confuse comfort with peace. but they're not the same. Comfort is short-term relief, peace is long-term alignment. Growth creates peace because it aligns you with who you're meant to be, even if it's hard in the moment. Think of a butterfly. Before it can fly, it has to struggle inside the cocoon. That struggle builds the strength in its wing. If someone helps it escape too early, it never flies. The discomfort is not punishment, it's preparation. Every time you choose growth, you're telling the world, I believe in who I can become. You're investing in your future self. Whether it's going back to school, speaking in front of a room, starting a business, setting boundaries, or simply saying yes to something that scares you, you're planting seeds of greatness. Growth is the gym for your soul. You don't get stronger by lifting light weights. You get stronger by facing resistance, pushing through, and showing up again the next day. And yes, it's hard. You will be tired. You will doubt yourself. You will fail at times. But failure on the path of growth is better than success in the land of comfort. Because at least you tried, at least you became more than you were. There's power in doing the hard thing, the uncomfortable conversation, the leap of faith, the cold morning run, the honest journal entry. These moments shape you, they mold you into someone who doesn't just dream, but does. You already know what needs to change. You've known it for a while. That job you've outgrown, that toxic relationship you keep justifying, that book you haven't started, that boundary you're afraid to set. Growth begins when you stop negotiating with your potential. And remember, it's not about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to act even while you're scared. Growth hurts, yes, but regret hurts far more. Years from now, the pain of staying the same will be heavier than the discomfort of stretching. So ask yourself, what would the best version of me choose today? Then choose that, even if it's hard, especially if it's hard. Most people are working hard, yet they feel lost. It's not because they're lazy, it's because they don't know where they're going. They wake up, go through the motions, get things done, but there's no deeper direction guiding their actions. Without vision, effort feels like spinning in place. With vision, effort becomes purposeful. A compelling vision is not about fantasy. It's not just picturing a mansion or millions in the bank. It's about clarity, about knowing who you want to become, what values you want to live by, and what kind of life would make you proud to have lived. People don't lose motivation because they're unmotivated. They lose it because they can't see clearly what they're working toward. Vision is the internal compass that keeps you aligned even when things get hard. Without it, distractions win. With it, even setbacks become fuel. A friend of mine worked a job he hated for years. When asked why, he shrugged and said, "I don't know what else I'd do." That answer was a red flag, not of laziness, but of a missing vision. We sat down and I asked him to forget about the how for a second and just describe what his ideal day would look like. Not in vague terms, but in vivid detail. Where he'd wake up, who he'd be around, what kind of work would light him up. That conversation sparked something. He didn't quit the next day, but he started building. Within a year, he launched a small business that reflected his values and gifts. Vision turns survival into movement. Creating a vision doesn't require certainty. It requires courage. You don't have to know every step. You just have to be bold enough to imagine something better. Start by asking yourself honest questions. What would my life look like if fear wasn't deciding for me? What work would I do if money wasn't the only driver? Who would I be proud to become? Write it down, draw it out, speak it aloud. The more detailed the picture, the more real it becomes. When your vision is strong, excuses start sounding weaker. Procrastination loses its grip. Discipline becomes easier because you're not just pushing yourself, you're being pulled by something bigger. There's a difference between waking up because you have to and waking up because you get to. Vision creates that shift. You stop living for weekends. You stop waiting for life to happen. You start building a life worth waking up to. Vision doesn't just change your goals. It changes your posture, your confidence, your conversations. You begin to act like the person you want to become before anyone else sees it. That's where transformation begins, when you stop needing permission and start stepping into the future you've designed. Your environment is either shaping you into your best self or dragging you back into old patterns. There is no neutral ground. Every conversation, every interaction, every shared belief is influencing you, whether you realize it or not. We become like the people we spend the most time with. That's not just a nice quote, it's neuroscience. Human beings are wired for social mirroring. We pick up attitudes, habits, even language from the people around us. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, guess what you start doing? If you spend time with people who are constantly growing, stretching, and striving, you start rising with them. This isn't about being judgmental, it's about being intentional. If you're constantly surrounded by people who don't challenge you, who stay in the same place year after year, it becomes painfully easy to do the same. Not because you're not capable of more, but because your standard adapts to your surroundings. There was a young woman who dreamed of becoming a speaker. She had the voice, the story, the passion, but she was stuck in a circle of people who told her it was unrealistic. They didn't mean harm. They were projecting their own fears. She joined a local speaking club just to be around others who believed in something bigger. Her confidence grew, her opportunities grew, her belief in herself grew, and so did her results. Your circle doesn't need to be big, it needs to be aligned with your values, aligned with your goals, aligned with your next level. Take inventory. Who in your life inspires you to be better? Who challenges you, not out of criticism, but from a place of belief in your potential? Spend more time with them. On the flip side, who drains you? Who pulls you back into drama, gossip, or complacency? That doesn't mean you cut everyone off, but it does mean you create boundaries that protect your growth. Start seeking out environments that normalize ambition. Be around people who talk about ideas, not just people. People who talk about solutions, not just problems. Growth becomes natural in places where it's expected. Your future self is watching who you surround yourself with today. Don't let loyalty to your past become disloyalty to your potential. The best part, when you raise your standards, you not only attract better people, you inspire the people around you to grow too. It's not about superiority, it's about collective elevation. You don't have to do this alone, but you do have to choose who you'll walk with. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. You can have the best intentions, the most detailed vision board, and all the motivation in the world, but without discipline, none of it sticks. Motivation might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Most people wait until they feel like doing something, but feelings are fleeting. Discipline doesn't rely on feeling. It relies on commitment. It's waking up early when your bed feels like the safest place on earth. It's going to the gym when your mind whispers, just skip today. It's sitting down to write, create, study, build, especially on the days when nothing about it feels exciting. That's the test. The discipline is how you prove to yourself that your future matters more than your comfort. There's a powerful quote: every time you choose discipline, you're saying yes to your future self. It's true, you're building trust. Every decision you make reinforces one of two identities: the one who follows through or the one who keeps making excuses. Over time, those identities become reality. I once worked with a young man who wanted to launch a business. He had the idea, the drive, and even the initial resources. What he lacked was consistency. He'd work on it in bursts, 2 days here, a week there, then disappear for a month. The problem wasn't his ability, it was his discipline. We focused on one shift. Commit to 1 hour a day, non-negotiable, no matter what. That single decision changed everything. 6 months later, he was running his business full-time, not because of some massive breakthrough, but because he finally became someone who kept his word. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not exciting, it's quiet. Unseen, it looks like choosing water over soda, going to bed on time, saying no to the party, sticking to your budget. It's small decisions, repeated consistently, that shape a powerful life. Even 5 minutes of daily effort can compound into something life-changing. That's the beauty of discipline. It multiplies over time, but only if you stay in the process. People often mistake discipline for punishment. It's not. It's freedom. It gives you control. When you're disciplined with your time, your money, your energy, you get to design your life instead of reacting to it. You stop being pulled by impulse and start being driven by purpose. Start with what you can control. Pick one area of your life, your health, your focus, your habits, and make a simple promise to yourself. Then keep it. Do it again the next day. Watch how your confidence grows, not because someone else approves of you, but because you've finally shown yourself that you can be trusted. Discipline turns chaos into structure. It transforms random effort into predictable success. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about not quitting on the days when things don't go your way. That's when it counts the most. When it's inconvenient, when you're tired, when the rewards aren't immediate. Those moments shape the version of you that you've been working toward. You don't have to master discipline overnight. You just have to start keeping the small promises. That's how power is built. Quietly, repeatedly, relentlessly. There's a version of success that's shallow: fame, money, recognition. But the kind that fills you up, the kind that lasts, always has one thing in common: it impacts someone else's life. You weren't given your voice, your story, your perspective just to keep it to yourself. Your experiences, both the highs and the lows, hold power. When you use them to serve others, they become meaningful. That's where true fulfillment lives. Every single person has a gift. But gifts aren't always loud or flashy. Sometimes your gift is how you listen, how you make others feel seen, how you show up consistently when it's hard. Other times it's a specific skill: writing, teaching, building, organizing, encouraging. No matter what it is, your gift was never meant to be buried. It was meant to be shared. There's a woman I know who had a quiet strength, not a public speaker, not a business owner, but she had a way of making people feel safe. She started volunteering once a week at a local shelter. Just being there, helping serve food, sitting with people. She didn't think it was special until someone told her, "You're the reason I come back. You remind me that I still matter." That's what serving does. It reminds you that you matter too. Serving doesn't mean sacrificing your dreams. It means aligning them with impact. You can build a thriving business and use it to empower others. You can chase your goals and uplift those walking behind you. It's not either/or. It's both/and. Start where you are. You don't need a platform to make a difference. You need presence. You need empathy. You need a willingness to show up for someone else. Call a friend who's struggling. Mentor someone who reminds you of your younger self. Offer help where you usually look away. The world is full of people silently waiting for someone to care enough to act. When you serve, you rise, not in status, but in significance. You stop measuring success only by what you get and start valuing who you become in the process. You start seeing your life not as a race, but as a ripple where your effort reaches far beyond what you can see. Service also humbles you in the best way. It reminds you that no matter how far you've come, you're still connected to everyone else. We're all walking each other home. And sometimes the thing that pulls you out of your own darkness is the decision to be a light for someone else. When you live your life with open hands, not clinging, but giving, more begins to flow through you. Ideas, opportunities, relationships, joy, not because you're chasing it, but because you've made yourself a vessel for something bigger than yourself. You weren't meant to just succeed, you were meant to matter. And the surest way to matter is to serve. The pursuit of perfection is one of the biggest killers of potential. It keeps people stuck, frustrated, and ashamed of themselves for not being further along. But the truth is, perfection is not the goal, progress is. Perfection is paralyzing. It tells you not to start unless everything is figured out. It makes you feel like your efforts don't count unless they're flawless. It's the voice that says, if you miss one workout, what's the point in continuing? Or you messed up your diet today, so you might as well give up for the rest of the week. That mindset doesn't build your future, it destroys your momentum. Progress, on the other hand, gives you grace and power. It recognizes that growth is messy, that learning is uncomfortable, and that forward movement often looks like stumbling, not sprint. It celebrates effort, not just outcomes. Think about how a child learns to walk. They don't get it right the first time. They fall a lot. But no one yells at them for not getting it perfect. We cheer them on even after a step and a fall. Why? Because progress matters. That same compassion is something we owe to ourselves. There was a man who wanted to get in shape after a decade of neglecting his health. At first, he was on fire, 5 workouts a week, strict meal plans, but the moment he slipped, one skipped gym day, one weekend binge, he spiraled into shame and gave up. When we talked, I asked him, did the slip erase all your progress? He said, no. Then why are you acting like it did? That conversation shifted everything. He began tracking effort instead of perfection. He focused on consistency, not extremes. Months later, his transformation wasn't just physical, it was mental. He no longer feared failure. He used it as feedback. Start keeping track of your small wins. Write them down. Did you make a healthier choice today? That counts. Did you show up and try even when it was hard? That matters. Did you choose progress over quitting? That's strength. It doesn't have to be huge to be important. One step forward every day for a year is 365 steps closer to the life you want. Most people underestimate what they can do in a year and overestimate what they can do in a week. Don't rush the process, respect the process, and don't let comparison rob you of your journey. Someone else's chapter 20 is not your chapter 2. You're not late. You're not behind, you're becoming. Measure yourself by your growth, not someone else's highlight reel. Use tools that help you stay accountable. Journal your progress, use a calendar, set micro goals, review weekly what's working and what needs adjusting. Let progress be your measure, not perfection. Perfection is an illusion. Progress is the path. When you track progress, you shift your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and fails and start seeing yourself as someone who shows up and evolves. And that's who you're meant to be. Not perfect, but powerfully in motion. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. Peace isn't just a nice feeling, it's fuel for your purpose. Without it, your mind is cluttered, your decisions are reactive, and your energy gets drained before the day even begins. Protecting your peace is not a luxury, it's a discipline. The world is loud. Social media, news, opinions, expectations, it's all designed to pull your attention in 100 different directions. If you don't create space to guard your inner world, the noise outside will dictate your mood, your mindset, and eventually your decisions. Peace isn't passive, it requires boundaries. It means learning to say no without apology. It means not answering every call, not responding to every message, and not attending every event you're invited to. It means recognizing that your energy is a limited resource, and if you give it away carelessly, you'll have nothing left for what truly matters. There's a man who once told me he felt exhausted all the time, not physically, but emotionally. When we explored why, it became clear he was trying to please everyone. Every request he said yes, every favor he agreed, every drama he got pulled in. He didn't need more sleep, he needed more boundaries. We made a simple shift. Protect the first hour of the day. No phone, no emails, just silence, breath, and intent. That one change helped him reclaim clarity, and over time he started saying no to things that drained him and yes to things that aligned with his values. Peace returned, not by accident, but by design. Protecting your peace may upset people who are used to benefiting from your lack of boundaries. That's okay. You're not here to be everything for everyone. You're here to be fully present for the life you're building. Your environment matters. The voices around you matter. Be mindful of what you consume. If the news fills you with anxiety, turn it off. If certain people only bring drama or negativity, take a step back. If your space is chaotic, declutter it. Peace often begins with subtraction, removing what no longer serves you. Silence is one of the most underrated tools for peace. Just 10 minutes a day without input, no screen, no noise, can reset your nervous system and reconnect you with your center. Don't be afraid to unplug. You don't owe the world constant access to you. Peace also comes from alignment. When your actions match your values, when you stop pretending, when you live in truth, you feel it. There's no tension, no inner conflict. That's what real peace feels like. It's not the absence of noise outside. It's the quiet confidence inside. Make peace a priority, not an afterthought. Schedule it, guard it, fight for it. It's in that stillness where your best ideas are born, where clarity speaks, where strength is restored. The world may call it selfish, but those who live with purpose know peace is the soil where progress grows. So now you know the path. Not the easy path, not the convenient one, but the real one. The one that leads to the best version of yourself. The one that requires you to take full ownership, to rise early with intention, to fuel your mind with wisdom, to chase growth instead of comfort, to build a vision so compelling it pulls you forward on your worst days, to surround yourself with people who won't let you shrink, to develop discipline so strong excuses don't stand a chance, to serve with your gifts because your life is bigger than you, to track progress, not for perfection, but to prove that you're moving, and to protect your peace because nothing grows in chaos. The best version of you isn't out there waiting to be found, it's already inside you, waiting to be unleashed. It's built moment by moment, decision by decision, day by day. It's not about being perfect. It's about being in motion. It's about becoming someone who refuses to settle, someone who refuses to live the same year 75 times and call it a life, someone who shows up with fire in their belly and clarity in their heart. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You just need to decide right now that your life is worth building. Not later, not next Monday, now. Start with one step, one change, one commitment to yourself that says, I will not waste what I've been given. I will not leave this world full of unused potential. I will not look back and wonder what could have been if I had just tried. This is your moment, not to be someone else, not to please everyone, but to become the version of you that you were always meant to be. So go, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs you. Fully alive, unapologetically bold, wildly committed to growth. Be the proof that change is possible. Be the reason someone else believes they can rise too. Be the one who looked fear in the eye and stepped forward anyway. Your best life isn't waiting, it's calling. Answer it.